I was going to make a stop at the Larry Bruno Foundation, the first of two. Dale Brellock, who's down just one more. What's the name of that bar down the street here? Just one more sports
Just one
bar?
more?
Yeah.
That's a great place.
It is. Well, it's the Miller family. It's got to be good. But anyway.
That's a great place in Monaca too.
I know. Speaking of enjoying yourself, you were at, in fact, they just reached out to me because I gave them some love on the air about their new sandwich, meaning Permane Brothers. So you had a little dinner time with the family.
I was craving that thing.
Did you eat it?
Oh man, I had a pastrami. The big Permane's pastrami style.
Got that one in Monaca.
Tell you what, it was really good. Had some zucchini for an appetizer.
Gotta have some zucchini.
I held back on the beer. I just had a Raz tea to drink. It was too early.
Let me tell you, I'm going to the home show this weekend. We're going to do Black and Gold Sunday there. I got Bob Smizik, Post-Gazette legend, Ed Bouchette legend, Bob Dvorak, Post-Gazette legend, and here's the other legend. I said, Bobby, you got to treat me right here. This is one of four. I bought all that he had, these pirate caps. No one does it better. Greg Diolis, of course, Law, Milk and Honey Entertainment. You handle all those big celebrities. You wanted his name. You wanted his number. Now spend some of that cash and get down there because he's all about it when it comes to Pitt is it.
Rob, that's fitted too.
Listen, man.
It's a fitted hat.
You know I don't mess around.
Yeah, that's
This is
not
the new
the
era.
no elastic
Oh,
there.
no, I don't.
This guy is the bomb. Nobody can do what this guy can at Enloe since 1954. Actually, around 3 years before you and I were born. So listen, I was at the new weight room, Beaver Falls.
I heard, but I haven't seen.
It's beautiful.
Is it?
It's beautiful.
Oh, I can't wait.
Listen, I got to talk about Beaver Falls. You guys are the Beaver Falls Mafia here. So,
I have been called the Godfather of 7th Avenue.
listen, you're the
Don't know
man,
why.
Bobby Middleman. I love being around you, brother. So anyway, I'm at the gym in the middle school, which was once the high school. You were there when they were dropping it in the net back in the 70s. That place must have been awesome back in the 70s.
What a wonderful gym. You know, Geneva College played their games there. Because, you know, the field house wasn't built till way later, like in the early 60s. And that was the nicest gym around. You know, that
Well,
sunken
yes, it
gym
was.
with those bleachers. And Geneva played there, Beaver Falls played there. And what a beautiful gym that is.
It is, man. Lots of
It is
history.
rocks in there, boy. You know, you're coming back and it gets noisy in there and you can't hear.
Especially when you see, and I'm not putting any of the other schools down in the area, but some of the other gyms that you've been in, high school gyms, they're kind of like a little bandbox gym. And then you walk into the Beaver Falls one, and I can remember the heyday, you know, back in the 1970 season, where every seat was full, and then in the top, where the walk around, you couldn't even, standing room only up there. The whole place was just packed.
Pops and his boys were carrying on for every game.
I seen Ambridge play there, 67 Ambridge.
Weissig and Company.
Yep.
No kidding. You're
Yeah,
like
they
10
were,
years old.
they were in the same section for a while, weren't they, Bob?
Yes.
They were in our section.
Okay, let's talk basketball. So Duquesne loses to St. Bonaventure. Sadly, they're done. Our Pitt Panthers lose. Notre Dame, they're done. But how about Robert Morris and Andy Toole, the Colonials? They are the Horizon League champs. They beat Youngstown State. They got their dancing shoes. They're
I
going
feel
to
so
dance.
good for those guys.
Bobby, that's a great story.
Yes, it is.
You know, I can remember, now this is the first championship in the Horizon League, but when they played Indiana in the tournament, when Forrest Grant and the kid from Valley,
Yep.
Skip, what was the other guy's name? The tandem was Forrest Grant and the other guard from Valley, remember?
Not B.B. Flannery.
No, Flannery, but his name will come to me. But anyway, they drew Indiana, Bobby Knight the first round, and Robert Morris was beating them most of the game. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
They ended up losing by 4. They were like a 16 seed against a 1 seed, right? After the game, did you ever hear the story?
Mm.
Bobby Knight came into the Robert Morris locker room, went up to Grant, and said, "You're the best guard we faced all year."
Listen, John Feinstein died. Legendary sports writer, columnist,
Dang.
over 40 books. The Season on a Brink, the whole thing with Bobby Knight. And God bless Mr. Feinstein, I absolutely loved him. But Bobby Knight supposedly held a clinic at Robert Morris. Now this is maybe folklore, but he actually threw somebody out of a clinic.
Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
do you realize?
Throw a chair at him, did
Hey,
he?
Beaver Falls
I believe that.
not only had a legendary Larry Bruno Foundation, Where's the Frank Chan stuff in here? Oscar Robinson, 1970
It's
Gooseby.
Just, we'll take a little short stroll, and I will show you. They're very well represented, both of them.
I love it.
We have, Oscar has the single season, or the single game scoring record still.
Didn't he go to
BF.
Duquesne?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have the ball, from the game ball from the game where he broke the record, was against Butler. And we also have Oscar's senior game jersey in his warm-up.
No kidding.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I remember watching that game on Channel 13, WQED, and not too long after that, the CYO had this all-star game. And Mark Nemesek and I were at Rochester watching Oscar Jackson, Gooseby, Tilt Willis from Rochester.
Mhm.
He went to Xavier.
Listen, you would have thought that we were watching the Willis Reed and the New York Knickerbockers, and he comes out of the locker room and tears off the warm-up jersey, and the Knicks go on to win. I mean, it was massive back in the day.
I believe every word you're saying, because they had an undergrad tournament. Do you remember that undergrad tournament Chan had? Like
Yes.
in 70 or 60?
Right.
And all the big players were there. Ricky Coleman from Shenley and Dwight Clay
We beat
that
them.
went to Notre Dame. And they all came to Beaver Falls. Stan Sly was there, George Green from Midland. And Rob, I was just like you. I was there and I thought it was the NBA.
You know, I never realized this until about a year ago, and somebody a lot smarter than me, and believe me, you don't have to look too far for that. I never realized it was Dwight Clay who dropped the bucket on UCLA
Yes.
to
I was
stop.
watching that game in my room at Pitt
Yes.
when he did that.
Come on!
He broke the streak.
My little 13-inch TV, I was watching that when he made that layup.
Yeah, and I jumped up and says he played in Beaver Falls at the undergrad tournament.
Here's the best story of the tournament,
Well, those some great years.
and they're moving on. Rick Pitino, what he has done at St. John's. Come on, Steve, Bob.
Say what you want about the guy. He could flat
He's a
out
winner.
coach. He could flat out coach.
You were there when the Big East mattered, Madison Square Garden, okay? Do you realize this is the first time they won the Big East in 40 years? I mean, how does this guy not be considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time? He wins everywhere.
5 schools take him to the Division I tournament. 5 schools.
Everywhere he's gone, he's won.
All right, so talk to me, brutally honest. My Pitt Panthers, that's all I care about. What are we gonna do with this basketball program and football program? You do the basketball.
Number one, if you think you're gonna fire the coach or not, because he signed through 2030.
The football coach, yeah.
Both of them.
Well, they both signed through
They're both
2030.
signed.
You're talking basketball.
Yeah, I was gonna have you do
Yes.
basketball. I didn't realize
Yes.
Capo, I should have, but I
No,
didn't.
they're both signed through 2030. And everybody gripes and gripes and gripes about Coach Narduzzi. Those players love him.
They do.
They love him.
Here's what you need. Name, image, and likeness. You need more cash, and I think anything's
Like,
possible.
they do, but they've been pretty fortunate, and they've done phenomenal in the transfer portal. They've recruited better in the portal
Better than
than
I
they
thought
have
they would.
than they have
You're right,
when they
Bob.
got to bring their freshmen in. They brought in 3 quality offensive linemen coming in this year. It's going to make a big difference because had they not had the guys that got hurt last year and had some experienced guys in there, they never would have folded like they did. The quarterbacks just got beat to death back there.
I kind of wish they weren't in the ACC. You know, one thing that Coach Capo, who I'm a fan of, I was reading in the Post-Gazette not too long ago, he talked about the ACC and how times are changing. I mean, look what the Big Ten has done. It does come down, and now you've got this Mr. Green, who's your new, athletic director. Maybe he'll be able to rally the troops and make some people write some checks and get some of these athletes in there. Rick Pitino went on record to say, we didn't recruit one high school player this year. They basically did that with the transfer
They
portal.
built that.
Yeah, so if St. John's can do it,
They all can do it.
yeah. I mean, realize about how many, you were one of them. These guys that have exceptional talent that are on the fringe, they get lost in translation or maybe want to go somewhere else because they don't want to be number 2. And really, they're number 1 on any other team, but maybe the team that they're on. So there's a lot of talent to choose from in both football and basketball.
Another thing I noticed about the basketball program is that door's swinging the other way on Pitt because they've lost players in the portal, and I don't think they're replacing them, bringing them in. The 2 big twins,
Yes.
they're playing for Texas Tech now. The one, or no, who's the one playing for Tech? Ferdinando.
Yeah.
Federico. They
yeah.
lost him, and then the year before that, the kid that went to Indiana from Penn Hills, they lost him, and then the kid that went to North Carolina, the point guard Johnson, I mean, they lose players, but they're not bringing them in at Pitt.
The name, image, and likeness, this is the time when these schools that we root for here locally have to find a way to buy in, because there's athletes out there who will definitely get it done. All right,
Unfortunately, we have one of the most wealthy Pitt alumni in the country out there, but because he owns an NFL franchise, he's only able to do so much.
And,
Tepper.
Ah,
okay.
I don't know, I still love the Pitt Panthers. I mean,
So do I.
I mean, it's on my brain
It was just
constantly.
heartbreaking to lose like they did.
And especially when you think back when Paul Evans and Sean Miller and Charles Smith and all those
Yeah.
great players
man.
and what they did year in and year out.
Billy
You
Knight.
know, it makes me yearn,
Oh, yeah.
more yearn for the
That's when I
Big
was-
East days.
You were in school and Billy Knight out of Braddock was playing.
He's a year older than me. Don't you remember that team in '74? They had all those local kids starting.
Kenny
They
Wagner.
had a picture in those
Well, Kenny
Sports
didn't start.
Illustrated from up in Mount Washington. All those local guys.
Elite Eight, right, Bob?
Uh,
They made the Elite Eight that year?
I believe, yeah, we lost to NC State.
The
David
Elite
Thompson got hurt in the first quarter. I said, "Oh, we got a chance to win now," and then we got killed.
Yeah, Elite Eights. Kenny Wagner is one of our inductees this year, and he's
He
gonna
was
talk
on that
about that at
15.
the banquet.
So before we take a break and come back and talk a little free agency frenzy, what's the latest with the Bruno Foundation? I see you got your sign up.
The sign is up. We've, after a lot of thought and planning, we've decided to not try to squeeze another event in between our night at the races and our golf outing, which is at the end of May, and then we have our banquet in July.
Wow.
We've made the decision that we're gonna have the grand opening as part of our banquet festivities. In other words,
July.
the banquet's July the 26th, which is a Saturday, and we're gonna, pretty sure we're gonna have the grand opening Friday the day before. Now, Friday's not a good day for grand openings, but you gotta remember, we're not a retail store, we're a museum, and it fits in with
Well, let me-
with the program. We don't wanna have it the same day as our banquet on Saturday, because we're too busy, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it on Friday.
Let me ask you something, because the wheels are always turning. Because this guy can do shirts, he can do anything. If he would ever do something like that, you had your grand opening weekend of shirts, you know, Larry Bruno Foundation, picture of Joe and Larry. Could you sell T-shirts and put it towards the foundation?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if we
I
want.
want one of those. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think.
But I guarantee you, anything that we would sell here would be originally designed. It wouldn't be anything you'd find anywhere else. You know, like if Bobby came up and said, hey, you know, it's gotta be something that's unique.
Listen, where else can you pick up the phone, say, I need some pirate hats? This is for my big head, okay?
Brought you a whole sack.
I mean, that's what you get when you buy local. I mean, that's what you get from the Godfather of 7th Avenue. All right, before we go, very quickly, please make Aaron Rodgers just sign a freaking contract.
They got their backup in place. They just need a starter.
I don't want Russell Wilson back here. With
Well,
all
they
due
signed
respect.
Mason Rudolph today.
I know.
That's what I'm
There's
saying.
your backup.
They have
I
him
mean,
as a backup. They just need their starter.
Or you let him start and you tank if it doesn't work out, and you get Arch Manning out of
Well,
Texas.
but are you in agreement with me that they should draft a QB?
Yes.
I think.
Listen, you know who I want? You're gonna laugh at me. Not
I
Will
know
Howard,
you're
not
gonna- I thought
Milrow.
you were gonna say Will Howard.
No. I want this Riley Leonard out of Notre Dame.
Really?
I'm telling you. I want him. He can throw.
Kid's got heart, man.
Got a hard head. I mean, he likes to. I mean, you saw him sick on the sideline, bloodied nose, still banging the line of scrimmage.
So you
He's
think
6'4".
he's tough enough to take it?
Yeah, and here's the thing: you're going to get him on the second or third day. And if you get Rodgers, fine, or let Mason go, but just see what the kid can do. I mean, it's better than Skylar Thompson. I mean, come on. All right, let me take a break. We'll come back. Guess who's here? Dale Brella, Debo Moving and Storage. You guys planning on moving anytime soon? Stay with us.